Right, part two. See how I got on and did my stocks. Now there's two different. There's a lot of people that do strip the rifles in different ways. I mean, what I did was use the water-based pro-grade paint stripper. Leave it on there for 12 hours. Wash it off in water. Dry it out. See what's left on there and give it another coat of this. Good stuff. Good, that's okay. It's, some spots I was using a bit of wire wool on top. Cleaned it out. Other products that I've used is the Nitromorse, and this is a Craftsman series. Now you have to be it's really nasty stuff. Don't get it on you. Use gloves. But it does the job. Don't leave it on too long, otherwise it burns the wood. So be cautious using that. Where this one is a little bit more. Well, it says EnviroMorse, so it's a bit more environmentally friendly, and you can actually, you know, be a bit more lenient with your personal protection on that one. Still use gloves though. Right, when I strip them down, I get to the point where there's any dents or nicks in the woodwork. I then use a steaming method. Now there's plenty of YouTube videos to show you this method. Wet cloth over the top, use an iron on steam and steam out. That also works in two ways. It steams the dents out, but it also removes or draws the old stain out of the wood. So it works in two methods. Then what I do is I let the stocks dry for a day and a half. Sand down 240 if needed. Then work on finer grades until I get the stock to how I want it and how presentable. I mean, it's important that you do actually finish off a stock. There's an old additive. It's like when you finish sanding, or when you think you finish sanding, you've still got an hour's sanding to do. But don't go too heavy with coarse grades of sandpaper on your stocks. Try to get as fine as you can. That's the trick I found, and get a really nice finish. Let the stock dry. I mean, and then what I did was what I did then was stain the stock with the Birchwood KC walnut stain. Now, just follow instructions. It's so simple to use. If you want a slightly milder tint to it, mix it with a bit of water. If you want a darker stain, put the first stain on, leave it a day, then assess it, and if you need more, put more on. But always go cautious with it, because it's like anything, you can put a little bit more on, but it's taking it back off. But I'm very pleased with that. Second thing that I used was the gun stock sealer and filler. Now I didn't get on too well with that. I don't know. I used it on one gun, and what I did is I stripped it all off. I just didn't like it. But that's my personal preference. Probably a very good product, but I didn't get on too well with that. And then the good old Tru-Oil. I mean, there's loads of videos on how to apply or how to use this on YouTube. So I won't go into bore everyone with how to apply, but I put between 8 and 15 coats, depending which stock I was doing, of Tru-Oil. Now a lot of people say you can actually use it, you put it on with your fingers. There's all different ways of doing it. The way I found best to do it was to actually a little bit of lint-free cloth and apply it, and then gradually work it in. I did do one rifle with my fingertips, and I found I was getting runs and streaks in it, and I wasn't too happy with doing it that way. I felt more comfortable doing it with a bit of lint-free cloth, and then just applying it that way, and then throwing the bit of cloth away every time. The only thing you've got to watch when you're getting close to the end of this is that you get like the crystallization and bits and pieces in it. You've got to be really careful that you don't, otherwise they will actually, you have to watch out for them, and always wipe the top of the bottle after every application. And everyone I've seen on the web recommends that you punch a small hole in there, and I would go along with that, because you don't want to open it up, you let air in there, you want the smallest aperture in there, so you're not sort of applying air into the Tru-Oil. Very, very good product. I'm quite pleased with how that came out. Stock sheen and conditioner, as you can see, not even opened. It's a finishing product. It takes the shine off and gives it a slightly matte finish, but I don't hunt with my rifles, I just target shoot, so I just enjoy the gloss finish of them. Not used it, so it comes part as the kit. Probably a very good product, but I've not used it yet. And to finish off, the gun wax stock. I know this is another good product. Once you've actually finally finished, apply some of the wax. It says apply twice, and I apply twice. Very, very good product. Brings up a nice shine. Also, I been using pure beeswax furniture polish. Bought this off eBay. Very, very nice product. That gives a really nice finish as well, and it's natural product, which I quite like. Now that was for all my rifle stocks. I did them with Tru-Oil, but I've now moved on to a quick point. In between coats of Tru-Oil, people say rub down with fine wool, wire wool, 1200 wet and dry. Now the best thing I found was micro mesh. You can buy packs of it for about £5–6, and the different grades from 240 right up to 8,000. It's such a good big product. Wet sand between coats, takes all the blemishes out, any small runs you might have, any dust or anything that's settled in, and it just knocks it down. And the good thing is as well, you don't strip too much of your finish back off. It's very, very fine, but I would recommend using it with a bit of water, letting your Tru-Oil between coats dry off, and then wet sand, and then after you wet sanded, let it dry for 10 minutes, and use a tack cloth just to remove anything that's on the surface, and then apply again another coat of Tru-Oil. And I haven't gone far wrong doing that. But this micro mesh, very pleased with that. I was using 1200, and I find it was putting slight lines into the finish, but now I use the micro mesh. It's not bad. And then you've got another system. I'll just move this out of the way. This I think it's called a London stock finish. Pure turpentine, rolled linseed oil. Now this is a K98K that I've stripped down, and I'm applying the London stock finish too. Slightly different. I just like the character of this rifle stock. It's got all the dents and nicks and age related. The actual rifle is 1941. I didn't strip, I didn't bleed out any of the oils or anything, I just left it. The worst thing you can do is sand down and destroy something that's that old, 70 years old. You need to sort of show its age off. And this is at about 5 coats now, so I will be applying some more coats. But that is just purely boiled linseed oil and turpentine mixed. Any serious cracks, I've got another rifle stock I've got to do for a friend, and he's got some serious cracking in the woods. and I'll be using shellac filler. Just melt it with a hot iron into the cracks, gently sand off, and then do the London stock finish, which is the linseed oil and turpentine on top. So I'll probably be making a video how that all goes with using the shellac filler sticks. You can actually buy shellac. You mix it down with methylated spirits, or I think you can use turpentine as well, but it's not something I've done so far, but I will be demonstrating that in the future. That's about it really. That's the way I've done my stocks, and I've been quite fortunate with them. There is a bit of heartache now and again. After the 6th coat on one stock, I was walking through and it fell off. I had it on a coat hanger and it fell off, landed on the floor covered in cat's hairs. So I had to sort of rub that down again and do it again. But if you do it yourself, it's a really good finish. But for any of the WEIHRAUCH rifles, I enjoy doing them so much. If you need any sort of advice or anything at all, just mail me. I would help out. I've done 3 now, so I've done a couple. So I'm always there for advice on how I've done them. So I don't think I've left much out really. I use to re-blue as well, cold blue. I've sort of stayed away a little bit from the KC cold bluing. Cold blued parts of the 77, which were actually being rubbed down and very shiny, and there was a few rust marks in it. So I decided to strip it right back and re-blue it. There was an oxy blue that I think our American cousins can get hold of, and a lot of people really rate that, but unfortunately you can't get it in the UK. I've read a few reports on the Birchwood KC blue. I decided to try the Phillips. So it's just like I think the theory behind it is slightly different to other blues, where you apply the blue. I think it says on here you mix this with water, 1 to 2. I think it's 1 to 2. Is it 1 to 2? Well, yeah. If you've bought it, you read it. It mixes with water, and then you immerse the part into that, and then you apply oil to the when it's you pull it out of the water, and the oil neutralizes the product, the process. For cold bluing, I've done the 77, and parts on it come up really well. So I actually quite like this stuff. I've not used any other products for cold bluing, so I couldn't really sort of quote and say how good they are, but I'm quite pleased with the Phillips. It's brought some of the parts up quite well. Well, I don't think there's anything else. There's probably loads I've forgotten. Usual story, but if there's big things I've missed, I'll do another video in the future. But I really hope that helps people to actually take a step forward. It's quite a daunting task to actually sort of talk about stripping stocks down and redoing stocks and that. A lot of people are quite frightened behind the aspect of it, but don't be frightened. There's loads of advice, there's loads of good YouTube videos out there to show you how to do it, and it's like I say, there's people like me that if you get into a situation, it's just a few texts away, or sending the actual stock down to me, and I'd be quite prepared to have a look at it and help you out. So there you go. Okay, well thanks for watching my video.